wanted to start a garden, but you are intimidated by starting, or you know that there's just so much information out there, you're not sure how to even get started. Well, today I am in that same boat. I am getting started on our gardening journey. I've never gardened before, but I have done a lot of research. I've been immersing myself in gardening podcasts and talking with one of my sisters who is a flower farmer. And what I want to share with you today is just all of the things I have and how I'm getting started starting our seeds for the plants that we're going to grow in the garden. This is new territory for me doing gardening, and so I'm really excited to dive into it and just learn a lot. I've already learned so much about gardening, and I just want to get my hands into the dirt and start planting things. I'm so excited for just that experience of having some fruit or vegetable at the end of, or at a certain point in the season, and thinking like, I grew this, I made this. And I'm really, leaning into some of these more homesteading type skills. We definitely don't have a homestead, but that would be a dream of ours in the future. And right now it's just growing and building up the skills so that hopefully one day, if that's a possibility for us, we can transition all of these skills to that life. But without further ado, let's dive into some of the things that I have gotten to start our seeds. All right, now let's go over all of the things that I got to get started with seed starting. So the first thing I want to talk about is the cell trays that I got. So these are what you can begin your seedlings in. These cell trays that I got, I've heard a few kind of gardening influencers talk about them. They were from All About the Garden, and I chose to get these ones because I was listening to this podcast with Jill Winger, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he is the owner of All About the Garden, and he designed these seed trays to be like really durable, to not be warped or like crack in the sun, and they're intended to last for like 15 years. And so when I was thinking about it, I actually ordered other kind of more cheap seed trays, and I will return those because I am really feeling like this is an investment, and I want to get something that I'm going to use year after year and not spend $20 this year on seed trays that I'm going to have to replace in 2 or 3 years anyways, and just get something that's going to last. And I've heard only great things about them. So I'll put a link in the description box below. But so I got these ones. This style is, it has 70 cells in it. So I got 2 of those. I guess I hope that's enough. I think so. I haven't done all of my planning of everything that I'm going to start from seed, but that seemed sufficient. And then I got 1 of these 40 cell ones, and they're a little bit deeper and wider. And so I thought I would use these for starting things that will grow a little bit bigger before we get them into the ground, like peppers and tomatoes. So I got 1 of these as well. So those are my cell trays. That is really essential for starting seeds and getting your seedlings going. The other thing in this podcast episode that he recommended as just like an essential to have was heat mats. And so I got this pack. It's 2. This is the one he recommended, was Vivo Sun. And they're just heat mats, because he was saying how to have seeds germinate, it needs to be between like 77 degrees and like 80 degrees, or maybe it was like 70, I don't know. It was significantly higher than what we keep our house at for optimal germination and growth. And so I'm not going to keep my house at 77 degrees so that my seeds can grow. Instead, I'm just going to use these heat mats. And he said he's had his for many years and they're still working great. So another kind of investment, but they weren't super expensive. I think 2 of them was like $25. Again, I'll link it below. I ordered some seeds from Johnny's. That was where my sister recommended them. I ordered tomatoes, pumpkins, spaghetti squash. I ordered 3 different types of tomatoes. and 2 different types of pumpkins and spaghetti squash. And then my sister is a flower farmer, and so she has so many seeds that we're going to dive into in a little bit. And I'm going to use all of my other seeds of what I'm going to plant from her stash because she's got a zillion. So those are the ones that I wanted that she didn't have. So I ordered some of those. I got some seed starting mix. I just picked this up at our Home Depot. Get it at any garden center. And I found it interesting when I was listening to that podcast. Again, I'd recommend it if you want to start seeds. He was talking about the importance of using a soil that is similar to the soil that you're going to be transplanting your seedlings into. And that made a lot of sense of just like having the fewest amount of variables for those plants, because when you transplant them, they can have like transplant shock and then not adapt to their new soil very well. And so seed starting mix is just a very easy soil for the plants to start growing their roots into. And then when you transplant that into the garden, it's a little bit more similar to the soil than like a potting mix would be. And so anyways, I got that. It seems like it'll be a good thing to start with. I know a lot of people have had success with potting soil and doing their own compost and all of that kind of stuff. He has a lot of details in that podcast episode that I found super interesting and helpful. And since I've never done this before, I figure I would just take the advice of someone who has had very great success starting seeds and has had really great results. And the last kind of supply and thing that's needed for starting seeds is a grow light. So I got this grow light. It's like an LED. It has these 6 lights. I actually ordered 2 of them, and you can move the lights around to cover different plants. You can lower them and raise them up, which I liked because you want the light like 4 to 6 inches above this plant so that it can grow and be like nice and stocky. You don't want like long spindly plants. Those are going to be weaker, and that happens when the lights are too far away from the plant. And so I ordered 2 of these. I think that will be sufficient for what we need. We'll try them out. We'll see what we think. It was a recommendation from a friend that she really liked and had had success with them. I didn't do like a ton of research on all sorts of lights, but I just made a decision. So I will link all of these supplies in the description box below. All right, let's get into planting these seeds. So I started with just getting my seed starting mix into a bucket so it was a little easier to work with, and I got a tray to set my cell trays on just so if I make a mess it catches all of that. And I just dampened the seed starting mix so that it would pack into the cells better and not come out of the bottom as easily. I just pushed down the seed starting mix into the cells gently so it's a little bit more compact so that the roots can grab a hold of something. Now we're going to start planting. We're going to start with tomatoes. So we'll do 1 row of paste tomatoes. I am just gently pressing the seed into the soil so that it makes contact with the soil to help with germination. I decided to plant a few more just in case some of the seeds don't germinate. Then I will still have enough for all of the ones I want in the garden. I chose to plant 3 different varieties of tomatoes this year. I'm doing a paste tomato, a slicing tomato, and then a cherry tomato for salads. My husband is very excited about the thought of having fresh homemade salsa with ingredients we grew in the garden. And so one of those ingredients is jalapenos. So we are going to grow some jalapenos, or try to. Here I am giving them a little bit of water to just set that soil in place and get them on their germinating journey. But actually after this day, I am going to start bottom watering them. Again, that was a recommendation from that podcast. And so I will just pour water into that cookie tray, and the roots will absorb the water from the bottom, and then it will, once the tops are kind of damp again, that's a good sign. He also mentioned that you don't want to leave the roots sitting in water, or that can be bad for them. And it's okay for the tops to get dry a little bit, but we want to make sure that the whole cell never dries out completely. You guys, we did it. We got seeds started. I'm so excited. It's hard for me to imagine that these tiny little seeds are going to grow into giant plants in just the next couple of months. I'm just so excited to get started on this gardening journey. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I just haven't had really the space or just the right timing to do it. And now feels like a time that I have the motivation, I'm excited, and I want to start learning, because I know it is kind of a lifelong learning process with gardening, and you learn a lot along the way. So I'm super excited to learn these things. And I hope you would come along with me on this first year of gardening. Hit that subscribe button if you want to follow along. I'll be sharing lots of our journey, some more garden planning, how we are going to be making our beds with a no-dig gardening method. So if any of that interests you, or you want to share your own tips and advice with me because you've been doing this for longer than I have, I welcome you to drop any of those pieces of advice in the comment section below. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.